Hi, what's up? Today we have like a kind of opinion gathering video. I wanted to talk about the format of how I do manga reactions, what other options we might have for doing that, what you think of them, the pros and cons, etc., etc. There's going to be a poll in the description, so if you don't have time to watch but you'd still like to kind of give your opinion, please go ahead and vote. But if you want to stick around, I'm going to kind of break down some of the options. So I based all of this on a census I am taking of other manga reaction channels on YouTube. Basically, I just searched for manga reaction and scrolled down further and further and further and further, and then kind of took some various stats and features and stuff from each channel I found. I went through 54 so far. I'm probably going to do some more at some point. There's probably going to be another video where I go more in depth with the sort of patterns I found and just kind of what I think the meta is like, because I'm kind of interested in all this stuff. But the main thing I wanted to see was how they're actually making the videos themselves, how they actually record themselves reacting to manga, just to see what kind of options are out there, see what's popular, what seems to work well, and most importantly, what doesn't get taken down with copyright strikes. So the first option we're going to talk about is the one that I use now, which is just my face and a little indicator of what page we're on down in this corner here, which you've seen before. Like it looks like this. um, and this was pretty popular. I'd say this was the most popular method. Most people didn't even do the page indicator though. They didn't have any sort of part on the screen that showed which page they were on. They would just talk continuously. I don't know why they didn't bother doing that. It's not that hard to set up. It takes like maybe a couple minutes to get it set up, and then it works for like every series basically. But I did notice that most of them, it seemed like they were reading all of the dialogue on the page. And I guess that helps a lot with kind of orienting people to what they're looking at and what they're going to talk about next, and what page they're on, of course. But I don't want to do that. That just takes too long. It's very tedious, and I don't think it really adds much to it. Like, of course, sometimes I'll read the dialogue if I want to kind of like emphasize something, but I want to save that for when I want to emphasize something, um, and not feel like I need to read all of the dialogue all the time. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Please leave comments if you have opinions on that too. That might be something else we take a poll on at some point. I think it might have been in the other survey I did. Anyways, so I guess that helps with orientation and stuff. So it's kind of like less of a con for those channels that do that. A lot of people too, well, maybe not a lot. I think I saw maybe 10 or so people that would do this, where they would edit the video later so that when they're talking about something specific, they would edit in briefly just like that panel or just that face or whatever. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of effort, but I can see the appeal of that. It's kind of like a sweet spot where you get to talk about specific things you want to emphasize, but you don't have to show so much of the manga that you're in risk of getting copyright strikes. Maybe something to consider. I don't know. It's like kind of difficult to know where to draw the line of, okay, this has received enough focus and it's specifically tied to the art enough that it's worth showing it, it's worth making the effort to edit that in, versus, well, I'm like mentioning this, but it's pretty clear from what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, and that it's like not worth it. Like that kind of subjective analysis is just yet another layer of effort. So yeah, the pros for this mode is that it's extremely easy. Big face. It has the largest actual reaction screen, my actual face reacting to things. Um, if that's what you're into. This could also be a con if you're more about that stop making that big face life. Shoutouts to Aphex Twin. There's a 0% chance to takedowns if I just don't show the manga at all, of course, so that's nice too. That's, of course, what I'm most afraid of. The cons, the thumbnails that are auto-generated are pretty boring. It's just me making some face all the time, which I don't really like. I can't indicate really what I'm looking at very well, which is very difficult. I have to kind of describe, oh, the like middle left panel, isn't that face hilarious? Ha ha ha. It loses a lot of the impact. It's kind of difficult. You have to read along to have any sort of hope, which is a lot more effort on the viewer's end. And it's really bad for like art discussion. It's one thing to kind of indicate where on the page I'm reading and kind of what plot points I'm talking about. That's okay. That's kind of more just kind of taking it away from the medium of manga though, and just kind of discussing it as a plot, which is okay, but I really do like talking about manga as a medium and the strengths of it as a medium, and that involves getting really in-depth into like specific paneling choices and specific art choices and all of that stuff, and that's very hard to do if I can't just show you what I'm looking at and point. Well, I can't actually point. That's not how videos work, but point with my mouse, I guess, and say what I feel. I think this isn't a huge problem because I have a lot of hard drive space, but the file size, if I record mostly my face, if I have mostly like actual video footage, is way, way higher than a video like this where most of the screen is the computer screen and it's like static and is very easily compressible. So that's like kind of annoying. It's like an order of magnitude larger, and eventually I will run out of hard drive space. I mean, it's not literally infinite, so that sucks. It's not a huge deal though. All right, so the next option, you just back to the pre-YouTube ban model, just show the page and just kind of try to get away with it. And this was surprisingly popular. A lot of channels I saw, people that were way more popular than me, people that had like well over 10,000 subs were still doing this. Still just kind of trying to get away with it. They would use some tricks, like sometimes the page would be like really kind of faded and transparent, and it would be like overlaid on top of the video footage. I saw some clever ones where they would have the manga on their phone, and the phone would be visible in the video, and while they were reading it, I guess they used some sort of screen mirroring thing where they were able to like scroll the phone while they were looking at stuff so you could see it here, see the reaction. Or they would have like another monitor that was mirrored and it would just be in the background showing the manga. I was like, well, okay, that's pretty clever. I guess you can kind of get away with it, maybe. I'm not like really sure what separates the channels that get away with it and me, who obviously didn't get away with it. Of course, some series are more safe than others to show the manga of, and as you saw, like as each series got nuked, I would have to kind of like scale back, do that one with just face, and then more and more would just be just face. But then there's other ones that I could never imagine copyright holders coming after me for, like Fukumoto manga or something. I could probably just get away with that forever. I don't know. It's complicated. It's like it really worries me. I don't really want to go back just to doing this and hoping that I just get away with it for longer this time or whatever, or end up having to do just this whole process of kind of restarting the channel, and which is a big pain. Um, yeah, so I don't know. So the pros, of course, it's still quite easy. If I was going to go back to the full-fledged early model of just showing the whole thing. And it is ideal if I can get away with it, if I knew for sure that the copyright strikes weren't coming. This is definitely the best method. I don't know though. I don't know how to ensure that. Everything I tried didn't work, of course. Having different methods for different series is kind of annoying too, because of course there's ones that I know there's just 0% chance I can get away with, like One Piece, BNHA, Dr. Stone, and We Can't Study were the ones that really did me in last time, so I'm not making that mistake again. And having different methods for different series is a little annoying too, just on the end of creation and of watching, just that kind of inconsistency. And even if like I don't get copyright takedowns, if I don't get completely busted on that regard, if I ever wanted to monetize the channel, I think I would still run into some trouble because I think there is still like a manual review stage of monetization. I could be wrong on that. But if anyone human, and not just like an image detection algorithm, came after my channel, I think it would still be RIP, or at the very least, they wouldn't qualify me for monetization, because I'm pretty sure when you sign up for monetization, it asks you like, is this like original or legally transformative work, which I don't think what I do is. So I don't know. It's not like we're anywhere near actually being able to monetize the channel or make any sort of money from it. And it's not like that important to me that I'm able to do that, but it would be really cool. Like I would sure love it if this could be something I do for a living. So I don't want to like close that door entirely yet. I don't know. How are they getting away with it? Why did I get busted? I think it might be because I didn't have custom thumbnails, so you could see that the manga page was like right there, and that because of that, it was like very trivial for them to just like be scrolling past, them being like the Japanese publishers, and be like, hey, so that guy's been doing. Um, Whereas everybody else with custom thumbnails, you'd at least have to like click on the video. So maybe that's why I got away with it, or that's why I didn't get away with it. Whereas other channels that are bigger than me got away with it for longer. Maybe, I don't know. Um, Maybe one of you punks snitched. Y'all out here snitching on your Blanquista. Don't do that to me. Yeah, I don't know. This one is. I sure wish there was a way I could just make it work. And there are kind of ways that I can make it work. These are some other options. Oh, this one is, yeah, I'm not doing this. I saw a few people do this, that instead of the manga page or instead of just their face, they would show like fan art scrolling across, or like zoomed in panels. They would just kind of like pan them across, kind of like relevant to what they were talking about at the point. So they weren't showing the entirety of the manga, but they were showing like manga related things, and I can see why. I guess, you know, it's a bit more interesting to look at. The thumbnails that get auto generated would be a little more relevant than just some face doing something. But of course, I don't think this outweighs the cons, which is that it doesn't really improve upon the current model in terms of like discussing the manga itself. Unless I went so far as to have like the manga panels in discussion be the things that are scrolling past. I don't know if that's really worth it. No more face. I don't know how big a factor that is for people, but I think there's some people at least who enjoy seeing me react on that kind of most visceral level. So that would be gone, which kind of sucks. And it's just way too much effort. It's just way too much effort. And that might just sound like I'm complaining that I'm lazy, but it really is relevant in that the more time I have to spend per video, the less videos I can make. And there's so many videos I want to make. There's so much manga I want to read. And really, I just want to get it such that I can put all of the time and effort into the actual recording of the videos and the analysis and the discussion, you know, the things that I actually care about, and that all the other stuff, the uploading, the sorting, all of the production side of it, would be like very straightforward, almost like mechanized, you know? And then, like, I'm not totally opposed to doing edits and stuff if I have an idea for one that might be funny or interesting or helpful. Um, but it's like I want to feel like I have the time to do that, in that I only do it occasionally and only when I really want to, rather than having this kind of floor of time put into each video for editing. That just does not sound at all appealing. So this one is right out. I'll put it on the poll in case everyone loves this idea of showing fan art and stuff. But unless there's like just like an overwhelming wave of support for it, I don't think I'm going to consider it. The next option is an off-site upload. So we record the whole thing just as we used to with the manga showing. We could do this for every season, every series, even like One Piece and stuff. Upload it to Dailymotion, VidMe, I don't know, AeroShare. There's a bunch of options, just like lots of smaller video hosting sites that likely don't care at all, or that the copyright holders aren't going to bother scouring through to find. And then I guess I would make like a video announcing it on YouTube, or maybe like a collection video where I say, hey, these videos are up on the Dailymotion account, whatever. Here are the links, come check them out. Something like this. A few people did this. A few people, mostly more for like anime reactions. They would do this, the announcement video, and then a link in the description to the actual full reaction video. There was even some that would paywall the full reaction video behind their Patreon account. So you had to donate money to see the full video, which to me seems like it definitely should be against some terms of service somewhere, but they're getting away with it, so sure. Um, so the pros of this, of course, is that somewhere the full experience is still available. The ideal, just talk about the manga. Here's the manga, the way that I would do it ideally. Cons, it's a bit more effort. I have to go to this other site, upload things there. It's probably not as smooth or as easy as YouTube, which makes uploading just a breeze. I could still get booted off the other site. Like, I think they probably care less than YouTube. But I suppose if I was getting popular there, there's still a chance that someone who's not happy with it could see it, and then we're just back to square one. It's not good for the YouTube popularity. Like, having just these short announcement videos isn't very algorithmically favored. It probably wouldn't attract too many people to the channel to just see this like very short video and then be told to go somewhere else to actually see the thing that's being discussed. I don't know, and I mean, I won't hide it. I like the idea of getting more fans, of making my subscription number go up. That's very exciting. I can't deny it. It's not the main reason I do this, of course. I would still do this even if nobody was watching, just because I find it very satisfying and meaningful to do. But it is nice, and again, I don't want to unnecessarily close doors to things that for now at least, even if in the distance, are still open. Plus, I don't even know if this is allowed. Like, I don't know if YouTube allows this, to have a link in the description to something that isn't allowed on YouTube, and then like to be trying to advertise that. I feel like it's kind of sketchy. I don't know where like the lines are drawn with this sort of thing, and if I end up just getting in trouble again, having gone to all this effort to avoid getting in trouble, that would be pretty frustrating and stupid. So I don't know. Again, it's like I was hoping that the little manga reaction channel census that I took would indicate what was allowed and what wasn't. But it's difficult because I saw people just doing things that I know aren't allowed and kind of just getting away with it. So now I'm not sure anymore if I see something, if it's like a legitimate model or if they're just getting away with it. So I don't know. It's worth considering though, because again, the full experience being available somewhere. Did my mouse just stop working? Oh, there we go. Is of course extremely appealing. The option 5 is kind of an enhancement of the previous option that solves a few of the cons but adds a few other ones. And this is the hybrid method, where we have two videos. One is just recording my screen, probably has no audio or anything like that, but it just shows the manga page I'm on or whatever else I'm looking at. It shows my cursor still, so I can like point out things and indicate things. And then you would watch that at the same time as another video that would be the option 1 style of just the face cam with the page indicator. So the face cam we would upload to YouTube just as we do now, but it would have a link in the description to the screen recorder file that you could watch at the same time. Seems kind of cool. Nobody was doing this. I didn't see anyone who tried this method. Um, Likely because it is a lot more effort. This is probably the most effort-intensive option. Having to record 2 videos, having to try to like synchronize them. It's probably some sort of hotkey configuration I can come up with. It's probably not that bad, but it is more effort, more storage space. I have double the videos for everything. All of the effort that goes into the previous option kind of carries over here and then some. I still don't know if this is allowed. Again, having to link to something that's not allowed on your YouTube description seems a little sketchy, but it does remove the downside of like kind of cutting myself off of YouTube popularity, in that the full video is still on YouTube, so it still will attract people to the channel just as well as the current model does, which is I'm content with that. Um, And if you don't want to bother with the screen recorder, you can still just watch the videos now as they are. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I say that, but then because I know that the screen is recording, I'd probably put less effort into trying to explain what it is I'm looking at in the facecam videos. So it's kind of like nerfing that experience a little, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It's worth considering though, because it's definitely the most effort, but it might not actually be that much effort if I can get kind of a good system going for it. Option 6 is the final one we're talking about. I'm actually kind of excited for this one, which is just blurring the page, going blurry mode. And I found an OBS plugin that does this. It's called like Streamer Effects plugin, I think. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's pretty easy to turn on. I can just... So now everything is blurred out. Let's look at some manga. So you can... I don't know. It's like you can tell what I'm looking at. You can't really see the cursor too well, which is a problem. And you can't really discuss the art. It's mostly just for orientation. Like you'd still have to read alongside the video to really see what's going on. But it is definitely a lot better for that than just nothing and having to kind of like just sync up with the pages. I mean, we can modify it, like I can make it less and less blurry. So then, and then it's like you're just trying to find like the sweet spot, you know, where it's blurry enough that they won't take it down, but it's not so blurry that you can't, you're just like totally lost as to what's going on. So like if I try turning the page, you can definitely tell that I turned the page, even with like much more blurriness. It's kind of hard to look at though. This might end up creating like a very unpleasant video. I don't know. Maybe this isn't the miracle solution I hoped it would be. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can like do this mode instead, where it's kind of more like just doubled or whatever. What do you think? It's not great. It's not. Um, I was mostly just kind of excited that I got the plugin working and stuff. So I was like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. So the pros, of course, is easy. It's a lot easier to show what I'm looking at in general than the current model, but it's not like actually great for that. And it should be okay copyright wise, knock on wood. I don't think they should have a problem with me showing an extremely blurry version of their manga, but I don't really know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And as I said, it's kind of hard to find that sweet spot of how blurry we need it to be, and then how visible we can kind of get away with. And it's never going to be the full experience. You're never actually just going to be able to enjoy the manga in full, like get the full experience of that while also watching the video, which is of course still the ideal. The dialogue is just right out. You'd have to rely on me to read it, which, as I said before, I don't really want to just read everything. And in the end, it could still just get nuked. And I don't think I would have much recourse because I am still actually showing the manga. I am still actually using a pirated copy of the manga in most cases. So I wouldn't really have any recourse. So I don't know. So what do you think? Of those 6 options we talked about, I'm going to put a poll in the description, a little straw poll. Please vote. The poll isn't going to be the end-all, be-all. I'm not just going to choose the most popular option, but I am very curious to see what you think, what you would prefer. We can even do like little experiments and stuff. But I mean, the number one fear is copyright strikes. The number 2 fear is videos that are impossible to follow and not really meaningful. So that's kind of the tiering of the fears, and of course those things disallow completely opposite options. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. The solution is probably abolish all copyright laws. Abolish all copyright laws and set up some sort of artistic grant process that somehow compensates for it. Not gonna happen. Okay, bye.